Hello, Musketeers, and welcome to... I don't fucking know what I'm gonna call this, but City Skylines. This is not a Let's Play. And no, I'm just gonna say this right now, not back to making videos. I'm just making this because I really want to talk about this game. I'm gonna briefly mention, if you're wondering where I've been, well, then you didn't watch the last video I uploaded. I'm in college, and college, I have no time to make videos, but I happen to have time to make this video, so I decided that I wanted to. Because I think it's important to talk about this game, in my personal opinion anyway. What in the hell is happening with this? That is not a thing you can make. I don't know if you can actually see my mouse. I didn't actually do any visual testing, so that's, you know, great. I did get the deluxe edition for this game because I was very excited for it, because it looked like a better version of SimCity, and it turned out it was. It does still have problems, which I will, you know, talk about. But it's definitely better than SimCity, the newest one. That just got loud. I'll edit that in the video, whatnot. You will notice I have one mod enabled that's just automatic bulldoze, because I hate bulldozing buildings. It's really annoying. So I just have the mod get rid of all my bulldozable buildings immediately. So I'm just going to jump right into the game to talk about what this game is, what's good about it, what's bad about it. Is it fun? That's, you know, a question I would like to answer. And I'm just gonna say right now, yeah, it is. I spent pretty much an entire day. When this game came out on the 10th, I believe, I got back from class, installed this game, and then just played until I went to sleep. You know, fuck, like, sleep, dinner, and all that. This is my city, Greendale. Bonus points if you get that reference. Bonus points. Now that you've seen this, you'll get less bonus points for getting the reference, but, you know, bonus points to you. So this is, in my opinion, the better version of the new SimCity, which is SimCity 5, I believe it was? Yeah, SimCity 4 was the fun one. SimCity 5 was the shit one. So it's a city builder. You make a city, you make residential zones, you make commercial zones, you make industrial zones. You put down health services and fire and all that stuff to make sure your citizens are happy, make sure they have power and water connected to them, make sure your water is not grabbing sewage water, because you can have water intake and sewage outflow. Make sure, you know, you're not grabbing sewage water, because then you'll have a lot of problems. The one thing I would like to say, to start off with, is either I'm very good at city builders, which I doubt it, or this game is fairly easy. Because you will notice that I have 78,000 people, which is just below the requirements for the final milestone. Milestones are population milestones, obviously. And, well, it's obvious now that it says that. Shut up, I'll talk about you in a minute. It's that the final milestone was 80,000. I got there, unlocked the thing. I did some stuff, and that lowered my population. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But I have reached a very high population on my first city. This is my first shot at making a city, and I've achieved basically everything I can already achieve. Which, again, either I'm really good at these games, or this game is really easy. And I'm willing to bet it's the second one, because I was never very good at SimCity. Like SimCity 4, anyway. You know, the good one. So I want to talk about a few differences between the two game series, in case you're not aware. You can do districts in this game. So I have all these different districts, like Kitty Corner, Greenerdale, New Beginnings, A New Hope, New Eden. I have a lot of news, don't worry about it. Holla Heights is my favorite name. Little Canada, you know, just, you can name them different things. I named all of these personally just because I wanted to. Some of them make sense to me, some of them probably don't make sense to anyone. But the benefit with districting is that you can do different policies for different districts. So, let's say in this business area, right, where I have a shit ton of business buildings, I can give the business buildings a tax break, which will make them happier, make them grow to larger buildings, and ultimately I will get more money out of it. There are building levels, and the level of a building depends on the education of the workers, the land value, and, like, general happiness, I think. Some of the mechanics are a little wonky, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, that's one of the differences, that you can district your entire city, which I like. I like doing that. I like, you know, making my cities very personal. Um, I don't have a lot of complaints about it, though I do feel like I didn't really use it to its fullest potential. You will notice that I have a lot of different policies on different districts, but I just did that so that I could get one of the achievements, which is to have 10 districts all with unique policy settings. So I didn't have any other reason to use it. So as cool as it is, I don't feel like it was very effective in gameplay. So that's, you know, unfortunate. Um, Another difference, one of the big ones that people really wanted SimCity 5 to have, because the city sizes were so small, is the ability to expand your city. You will notice that my city borders, as done by these dotted lines, is very weird. It's not, you know, square at all. It's, you know, outwards in two different directions. That's because you can buy land in this game. That's exactly what people wanted. That's exactly what people got. I believe you can have up to 9 sections, so I currently have 8. I don't know where I'm going to put the last one, but I'm going to put... Shut the fuck up. I'm going to put another one somewhere, probably like over here, or over here to get that highway so I can get more people. Another thing that adds, in contrast to SimCity, is that you can expand directly off of highways. You can also delete highways. You can edit highways however the hell you want. I'm not going to do that because, you know, why would I? So that's one of the differences. Unique buildings. Let's talk about unique buildings. They do have these in SimCity, but these work a bit differently than SimCities, because SimCities, as far as I remember anyway, all the unique buildings in SimCity are just tourist attractions. They're not like useful for anything other than being a tourist attraction. Unfortunately, I don't remember what the unlocking requirements for unique buildings are in SimCity, so I can't compare those two. I apologize. If someone wants to compare those two in the comments section, go right ahead. But certain unique buildings will contribute towards monuments. Monuments are the end game. Monuments are what you get when you get to 80,000 population. I've unlocked 3 of them, which are the fusion power plant, which means that I have an unbelievably high amount of energy. I will almost certainly never use this much energy, which also means I don't need any other energy plants. I have no windmills, I have no coal power plants, I have no oil power plants. I do have one hydroelectric dam, but that's because I use it as a road, so I didn't want to get rid of it. I have nothing other than this thing right here. If I can get rid of that. This is my one source of energy, which is kind of unfortunate, because if that ever goes down for various reasons, like if it gets lit on fire, or that's honestly the only reason I can think that would go down, or if I put my budget too low, it can actually have rolling blackouts, which I don't want, obviously. But otherwise, this just supplies a shit ton of power, because it's the end game. That's the point, is that you're trying to have a city of unbelievable sustainability. Another one I unlocked was the space elevator, which I believe I put right here. Yeah, this is it. The space elevator. Space elevator will give you a bunch of tourists, which is nice. I haven't really figured out how to get tourists to work very well, because if we look at some of these unique buildings I have, you'll notice, like, tourists last week, and the numbers are always in, like, 1 or 2 digits. I've never gotten above that. I don't know what to do. I really don't. Because the land value around these is really nice. And, like, all of the ways tourists can get into the city lead directly to this area, so I don't know why tourists don't come over here. Really annoying. But, doesn't matter. I still make a lot of money. I don't care about any of that. And the last monument that I've unlocked is the Hadron Collider. This baby. The Hadron Collider means that you don't have to have any education buildings in your entire city, and your citizens will still get educated. It's very nice. It is a little bit problematic, though. And I want to talk about why that is right now with unique buildings. So if we go, once you get 1,000 population, you get landmarks. These don't actually contribute to anything except for tourism. These ones are also some of the hardest ones to get, sometimes, anyways. Like 10,000 full lifespans, that'll just happen over time. You'll get that anyways. Fill 7 instances of cemetery sucked because I had to have 7 cemeteries that were full, which means I have to have other cemeteries so that people don't complain about having dead bodies everywhere. So that one kind of sucked to get. It wasn't too bad. 30,000 squares of industrial zone is a shit ton of industrial zone, and I probably will end up not getting that. But the Hadron Collider means that I can't get the Arc de Triomphe, because you need to have 15,000 children in elementary schools, which on its own, by the way, is a massive undertaking. Because you need to have, I believe, 50 elementary schools? Let me do my math, because it's 300 per elementary school, 300 kids per elementary school. Times 5 would be 1,500, times 10, yeah, so 50, you need to have 50 elementary schools and have all of them maxed out. That is an absurd number of elementary schools. I don't honestly know that that's actually possible, but I'm sure someone's unlocked it. So yeah, the Hadron Collider does take away from that, which is annoying. And then there's other ones like fill 3 instances of cemetery. That one is easier than the 7, still kind of annoying. 10,000 zones of industrial, city money 500,000. So yeah, there's a bunch of things. There's a few that I do want to mention specifically. 2 for the medical center, which means that I wouldn't need any medical buildings. And 2 for the Eden project, which would mean that all of my land value is increased by a lot. So if we look at the ones for the medical center that I have remaining anyway, we have the Courthouse, which requires that you have crime rate over 50% for 5 weeks, and unemployment rate over 50% for 5 weeks. Unemployment rate, I don't entirely know how to get. In fact, I don't even know how to check this statistic other than this. I can't find it anywhere in the game. Maybe I'm just blind, maybe I've completely missed it, but this is the only way I can check how much my unemployment rate is. I probably missed it and someone's already yelled at me in the comments. But I don't really fully understand how to do that, because I could probably just get rid of like industrial and commercial, but that would, you know, suck and my city would go down. It is a viable thing, but I don't like that. The other one that we just looked at, the Courthouse, crime rate over 50%. I attempted to get this one, and I ran into some problems. If you get rid of all the police stations, it won't bring crime up to 50%. Because citizens have to be influenced into going into crime, which means they have to be unhappy. So, I fucked them over a little bit. I turned off landmarks, I turned off parks, I turned off, or I put some of the water draining into sewage. I made people really unhappy. It got up to 30% was the highest crime rate I got to, and then my population dwindled so much that the crime rate went back down. I couldn't get up to 50%. I don't know how you're supposed to do that. It's really annoying. So that one's obnoxious. It's not impossible, I don't think. I'll probably end up getting it at some point. It's just really annoying. Now, the Eden Projects one. So we have the Servicing Services Office, which means construct 300 city service buildings, which includes water, or electricity, water, garbage, health, fire, police, and I believe education and transport. I have 162 of those in a massive city. So I probably would just end up putting, like, I don't know, like windmills. Just a cubic assload of windmills, literally just so I could unlock this building. So it's not impossible, but it's not something you would just normally achieve. It's just, you have to specifically go for that for no other beneficial reasons, honestly. Once you're at the point that you're getting 300 city service buildings, there's no other benefits to it, other than grabbing, you know, that building. So I think that's a little imbalanced. The other one, this one is a big problem. I don't know if this is a coding error, or if this is just somehow I fucked up my city. But you need to build 20,000 squares of commercial. You'll notice that I only have 2,000, when I have 10,000 industrial. You may think that's a little weird. I think that's a little weird. Because I haven't had commercial demand since I had, like, 5,000 population. Commercial demand has just stayed at 0. And I don't know how to raise it. I have absolutely no idea. You would think that as you have more industrial and more residents, they would want more commercial, because the industrial would sell to commercial and people would buy from commercial. But no, It's stated 0. And I've looked on the forums and people have complained about this. So I don't know if it's broken or if we're all just doing something wrong. But I can't get... I actually cannot get the Eden project because of this one unique building. So that sucks. So that's my rant. Big thing about, you know, unique buildings and monuments. I do want to talk about... Oh, I wanted to talk about one more thing regarding unique buildings. I was getting... God, which one was I getting? Oh, shit. This one, the Lazaret Plaza. You need to get your average citizen health under 20% and then maintain that for 3 weeks. When I did that, I destroyed every single medical center. No, I didn't destroy them. I turned them off. I turned off every single medical center. That didn't get it low enough. It got it to like 47%. So I put every single water grabbing thing into the sewage, and that brought it down low enough. The problem with that is that I ended up losing over $150,000 per week and thousands of people per week. I ended up with a city... I went from 80,000 to about 2,000 people. And I was so in debt that I couldn't do anything. I just had to wait for my population to come back. So, I think that this building is absurd. I think some of the unique buildings need to be adjusted so that they're less absurd, honestly. I hate to repeat myself, but some of them are just ridiculous. They're not something that you should, you know, achieve, really. Or they're just too far in the way that you should achieve it. Like, maybe it would be average citizen health is under 20%. You just do that. That would make sense. Like, not have the 3 weeks, because the 3 weeks is really what killed me. So if you just got rid of that, and just had it so it's under 20%, because that's shitty health. Let's be real here. That's really shitty health. Just get it below that, and you're good to go. That would make sense. But that's not how it's built. But I do want to add on to that, talking about how easy this game is. Because I did just sit there and wait, and because I had the mod that, you know, auto-demolishes buildings, excuse me, I'll try to remove that, but I probably won't, I'll probably forget. Because I have the mod that auto-demolishes buildings, I didn't have to go through and demolish the thousands of buildings that were there, and that's not even an exaggeration. There were thousands of abandoned buildings, and then I just had to wait, and I waited for, like, 20-ish in-game years. Actually, I can get the statistic, I believe. Oh god, where do I get the statistics? City statistics, right, it's right here. Here we go. City budget, no, city treasury, here we go. So this is where it started, went down, and, excuse me, it was about 2040 or 2039 that it hit its minimum. That's when I started going back, and then but when I hit, you know, actually 0, it was a few years, really? Just a few years? Oh, right, yeah, actually, it was just a few years later. I exaggerated 20 years by a little bit. It felt like 20 years, because it takes a long time to get through that many years. But that shouldn't happen. I really should not be able to get out of... What was that? Was that 8 million? Yeah, almost $8 million in debt. I should not be able to get out of $8 million in debt and bring back my city. That doesn't seem right to me. Go ahead and disagree with me in the comments. Like, please actually disagree with me. I would like to talk about this game. I think that shouldn't happen. That's a little... Given how my city was set up, it was able to build itself back up again. That doesn't seem right. It seems like the city should have just collapsed completely. No one wants to live there. It's abandoned. It's done. But no, it came back. The city had no money for like 3 years, but it came back. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. But maybe someone else disagrees. So that just adds on to how easy I think this game is. As long as your city is set up to take care of itself, money's not really an issue. As long as you don't fuck yourself over by having, like, I don't know, like having, you know, water and sewage. That's a thing I keep bringing up, because it's a big deal. Don't put your water in sewage. As long as you don't do that, people will be fine. They'll take care of themselves. Which is kind of not the point of a city management game. You're supposed to take care of them. I am going to add on to this topic by saying you'll notice that there's all these notifications flying around my city. Some of them are bad, like there's a dead person in this building, or there's like no buyers, or there's no materials, or no employees, or whatever. I don't care. That problem will either fix itself, or the building will be abandoned and then destroyed and replaced with something that doesn't complain. I don't care about any of these things. Like, oh, that got abandoned, that'll be gone pretty soon, assuming the mod is still working. Abandoned, let's watch it. Yep, gone. I don't have to care. And granted, and you might make the argument that, oh, well, if you didn't have that mod, then it would be a bigger deal. It's not. Trust me. I went a long time without that mod. The only reason I installed that mod was because of the thousands of abandoned buildings I had. I didn't want to go through and destroy all those myself. So I installed that mod. Before that, if there was an abandoned building, I just waited it out. They eventually disappear. It just takes a lot longer. So, you don't have to care, honestly. Like, you should care if it's a huge issue. Like, if there's a shit ton of buildings, like, around here with, like, dead people, you need to fix that. That's something you need to fix. But if there's not, then why do you care? It's just a small problem. Focus on expanding. I feel like this game needs some balances, or needs some balance changes or something that would make it more difficult, because I really don't think it's that hard. Maybe that's just me, though. I don't know. Again, go ahead and disagree with me. I do like this game, I just think it has some issues. Speaking of difficulty, I'm hoping this is my last thing about difficulty. Traffic! City builders make a lot of issues about traffic. And you can see here, I have a big traffic issue here, and I have a big traffic issue here. Want to know how much I care? You probably already guessed that I don't. I do not care. Because in the end, everyone gets to where they need to be. And plus, I have so much fucking money that, say, this area was having trouble fucking with medical stuff. I just plop down a medical center right next to them and be fine. Because I have that much money. Because I make that much money. Because I have so much population. Because I expanded a lot. Because I don't care about the little things. This game could be a lot harder. It really could. I'm hoping they either add difficulty adjustments or people make mods that have difficulty adjustments. Because I would like to see a harder version of this game where there's more consequences for fucking up. One of the consequences is if you go bankrupt and you have to take a what is it called? A bailout, a government bailout. Achievements are turned off. But if you don't care about achievements, or if you already have all the achievements, why do you care? You don't. That's not a permanent, like, negative reinforcement. That's just a thing that can sometimes happen. So I don't think it's as effective as it could be in its saying, you know, you failed, you fucked up. It's not doing that for me. I don't know. I don't like it. I think it could be harder. I think there could be fail states where you just lose. Your city crumbles and the game says this city is gone. It's going to be forever remain as a once great city that collapsed under your leadership. I mean, probably not in that brutal of wording, but it could do that, but it doesn't. And that bothers me, honestly. Now that I've talked about, you know, difficulty for like 20 straight minutes, let's talk about this thing. So this is the Twitter ripoff, where you can hear from your citizens about you know, what they think about the city. So you'll have things like industrial waste found in the soil, because you'll have, I don't know, pollution. Yeah, you have pollution all over the place. Ah, pollution, big deal. Sometimes you'll just have little jokes, like, my domestic AI is behaving badly. Any tips to how to comfort it and make it feel better? Blah, 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 blah. Who should I call if no one shows up to pick up the dead? That means there are dead still in buildings. The thing I find funny about this, though... Oh, we can't click on that anymore. If you click on their names, it'll take you to where that person is, and often their complaint is not in that building. So, it doesn't actually associate building complaints with the tweets. I find that kind of funny. And also, just side note for technical things, I named this one the Winger Residence, and if you don't get why this is called Greendale, you're not going to get why this is called the Winger Residence. And it stayed as the Winger Residence. However, the rest of these, also I find it funny that this is the Dean Residence, the rest of these do not stay. These will randomly change names. Any of these can randomly change names. Any of these buildings can change names. AT Mobile. They can just change names on whim. And I don't think that's representative of, like, businesses moving in and out. I'm pretty sure that's just because they don't want to store that much data, so they just randomly select it every now and then. I could be wrong. I don't know that much about computer science. I'm still learning. But I'm pretty sure that that's probably a better way of saving resources, is to not store every single thing, but have it randomly selected whenever you click on a building, and then save that for a certain amount of time. Because I've had it where I'd, like, click on a building and, like, start looking at my other buildings, then click back and it's a different name. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. So you could argue either way. I just think it's interesting. I'm not, saying that's a terrible thing. How dare they do that? I think that's interesting. I did want to go back to this. This is useless. This is almost entirely useless. Because, again, oh, hey, a new study shows that trees reduce, traffic noise. I don't care about traffic noise. No one complains about traffic noise. Even if they did, wouldn't care. Shut up. It's useless. It's just as useless as these little notifications saying that bad things are happening, because I don't care. Those problems will fix themselves. I'm looking at the bigger picture. That's how you expand, is you look at the bigger picture and don't sweat the small stuff. So why is this even here? You don't need this, and you can't turn it off. It's always there. I don't like it. It's annoying. Yeah, that's my rant about that. So there's, taxes. I seem to have found that 12 is the highest percentage I can put on anything. If I put it up to 13, people will complain, people will leave in mass numbers. That's actually a complaint that is something I should listen to, because they will leave in mass numbers, which is bad. But 12 seems to be the highest percentage. I don't know how to make taxes higher. I don't know if you can. I know that they can go up to 29, but that's a terrible idea, and that'll never work. You can budget things. Why is my police so low? I don't know. Oh, because I was setting up for the crime rate 50%, but I just never set it back. Education is low because I have the Hadron Collider. Energy is not low because, again, if you have energy budget too low, you'll have rolling blackouts, which you don't want. Which I have found even with this thing, you'll still get rolling blackouts on, like, the edges of the city, which is bad. It's just generally a bad thing. It stops production and, all that shit. It's just a terrible thing. I do have some stuff higher than others so that they can reach out further or have more, like, garbage trucks or ambulances. It's all just tinkering with exactly how your city works, and I like it how it is. Then there's policies, which I like the policies, even if they are useless. I said earlier that they're useless. I don't really use them, but I like them. And that's contradictory, and I know. But it gives more, it does honestly give more of a sense of, like, this is my city, I designed it to be this way, this is what I decide people can or can't do. So, like, I could ban pets across the entire city, I could ban smoking across the entire city, I can make everyone recycle. All these have different ups and downs, like recycling, there's less garbage accumulation, but you also get less tax. Recreational use is referring to marijuana. It just says controlled substances, but it's marijuana. Let's be real. It's weed. You do get tax income. You do get increased tourism, reduced crime rate, which I think is, I think that's kind of funny. But it also increases police budget by 15%. So you get, why is smoke detectors should just be everywhere. I don't want anything burning down. Why is that not already in? I don't know why I didn't put that there. There are other things you can have, like, tax raises, tax lowers. You can invest in small and big business or industrial, so you get more goods and more money. High-tech housing, to increase land value for every single house, but it costs money per house. Heavy traffic I could see being useful if you want to be really nitpicky about your traffic, but I don't, so I'm not going to use that because it blocks heavy transport vehicles from being used in certain areas. You probably don't want to apply that to your entire city because commerce needs heavy, you know, cars, heavy whatever the fucks. So you probably don't want to use that in your entire city, but I could see why someone would want to use that. I don't. High rise prevents construction of tall buildings, which also restricts buildings from reaching their highest levels. I don't like that, because I like having cities, you know? Big skyscrapers all over the place. And then you have, like, little suburbs and, like, business areas and whatever the fucks. I don't want to have just a small, flat, whatever the hell. I want to have variance. I don't know why you would do that. Does anyone actually want to do that? Maybe there's someone out there. Seems to be about everything that I really want to talk about. I can't think of any. I mean, they have all the infographics you can look at. They're all very useful, and I did actually use these as I was going through my game. It's really it, honestly. They do have good modding support. They're at least aiming to have like really good modding support. I want to see what people do with mods. I want to see people can like change the gameplay drastically somehow. Otherwise, for now, it's just gonna be like buildings people are adding in, which I don't think are that interesting. Honestly, I look through them. Some of the things people are making are cool, but I don't need them, especially if they're like, you know, ways to reduce traffic congestion. Again, I don't care. Not gonna use it. So, that's my thoughts on this game. It's a good game, but it's easy. It's a game that has a lot of good ideas, but some of them don't implement well. Like, you know, policies or fail states. Like, there's no real threat to losing, in my opinion. You can really recover from basically anything, as long as you don't have like the worst city setup of all time, which you really shouldn't. But yeah, it's fun, but it's easy. So if you're just looking for something to relax to, listen to some podcasts, you know, whatever, just kind of casually build a city, get this game. If you're looking for a real city building challenge, I don't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it for a real city building challenge. It's fun, but it's not challenging. So that's my thoughts. Oh, shut up. I've tried turning off tutorial and like help notifications, but for some reason that doesn't work. I'm sure that's just a glitch, and I'm sure that'll get, you know, fixed. Yeah, that's all. So, until whenever I post another video, thank you guys for watching. See you later.